Today we're talking about the one reason you should not be blasé at your sewing machine. Let's jump to it.
You can fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You can live all you ever wanted.
Oh my god, so I'm at the hospital now. You'll never guess what's happened. So this morning I get up fairly early because I've got a deadline to meet for a pattern I'm reviewing. I'm halfway through it, so I'm doing a bit of a rush job. Excuse the motorbikes there. I'm doing a bit of a rush job, but I'm also trying to watch YouTube at the same time, and I keep turning around to look at my computer screen because my Mac's behind me when I'm sewing, and I sewed through my finger. So some photos here. Here's a photo of when the needle was in, and you can see the top side, and there's the underside. You can just about see the needle sticking out of the bottom. I went into complete panic mode. It didn't hurt too much. There was a bit of a dull ache, but that was about it. So I then phoned 111, which is our non-emergency telephone number, and they said to get down to the hospital within the hour. So that's where I am now. I went in, the staff were quite amused, I have to say, that I stuck a needle through my finger. I don't think they come across sewing machine needles every day. And then when the triage nurse saw me, she actually flinched, but didn't fill me with confidence, I have to say. They said that I would have to go and have an x-ray. They wanted to see if it had gone through the bone. I was pretty certain it had because of the placement of the needle, although I know Nia on the kittenish behaviour group said that was unlikely, so I was kind of hoping that was the case. So they took an x-ray from me and took it from view above and from the side to make sure they could see the position of the needle, but in any event they couldn't really tell if it had gone through the bone or not, and thought perhaps it had skid past the bone. So she said she was going to give me a local anaesthetic. They called it something like a ring something around the base. Any of you nurses or doctors might be able to tell me. You can still see I don't know if it's sunlight, but I've got the holes there. She gave me quite a bit of anaesthetic and then gave me a few minutes, but I could still feel the pain in the tip of my finger. So she gave me more, but when she'd given me as much as she could, she attempted to pull the needle out from under the bottom of my finger, but I screamed out in pain. So she decided she was going to give me some gas and air. I haven't had gas and air for 22 years since I had my son Jordan, but that was a long time ago. So I had the gas and air, and that was quite nice, I have to say. I was away with the fairies for a couple of minutes, and she was able to get it out. She gave it a couple of yanks and I could feel the pulling, but I couldn't feel the actual pain. Still, it wasn't a very nice experience. And she got it out. I have to say the nurse, I'm not sure she was a nurse or a doctor, I didn't look at her badge, but she was absolutely lovely. And I have to say I've had a really positive experience at the NHS. Long live the NHS. She told me that it probably did go through the bone because when she was pulling it out, she had to give some really tough tugs to get it out. So she has put me on antibiotics, which I'm just waiting for now, which is why I decided to come outside and film this. I mentioned that I hadn't had a tetanus because they didn't say anything, and I thought I'd better not risk it. So I was a good girl despite hating needles. So they came and gave me a tetanus booster as well, and then sent me on my merry way. So that's it, folks. I have to say, pay attention, because I know I'm not the only one who does this, right? I'm pretty sure you've all risked it. You've all turned when you've heard a noise or someone's spoken to you or something, you've looked up as you're sewing. Don't do it. It is not worth it. I have just spent 3 hours of my life in A&E having a needle removed, having local anaesthetic. I had painkillers, I had gas and air, and not to mention the anxiety it caused me, and the fear and the resources that I used at the NHS doing it, you know. Well, I did ask them if they get sewing machine injuries very often, and she said not so. She doesn't come across sewing machine injuries very often, but she does come across, you know, those fishing hooks that they use to get the fish, hook the fish in the mouth. They have them sometimes, but she said she hasn't had one for a while. But she said no, she doesn't come across sewing machine injuries, thankfully. But she did tell me mine was a pretty bad injury, and so watch what you're doing, people, when you're sewing. And I'm talking to myself here more than anyone else, but I know you all fear this happening, so don't let it happen. Please, please, please don't let it happen. Right, I'm going to go and pick up my drugs now, and then I'm going to go home. I'll insert some pictures here so you can see what's happening.
Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. Welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive? You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky.
And safe sewing. Bye for now.
Shoot the moon and reach for Mars, you know you could.